Morning all, I hope you're all keeping well. Well, I had a change of heart last night and I decided that last bit where the bit of wood's bolted in with the two stainless nuts and the old chap done a bit of shady fiberglass work, I decided instead of leaving it I'll grind it right out. So I grind out that channel down the centre of the boat. You can see us nearly up to that, well it is up to that hard resin they're poured in places, but I thought I'll get rid of that glass and that gel coat what was under a couple of layers out of there, so at least it's all clean now. There's no point in doing all this work and leaving bits, because that's only going to give you problems in the future. Well, I've now got the 125mm orbital sander out just to start sanding the floor down. I started giving it a little bit, but I've only got 125 grit discs, so I really want some 60s or 80s. That's taken a long while. You see like the square boxes where the old bits of wood used to be for the floor and everything. That ain't very good, is it? That's taken so long to clean that up. So I sent the old chap off to get some 1680 grit discs. And hopefully another 2 or 3 hours, all the floor will be sanded clean. You can see the floor, particularly the best, that surprised me. Orkney boots might be very good, but look at that, that's the original hole there, and that looked very resin dry. There's all little tiny holes in it where there's no resin. I want a bit more resin on that. That looked very dry, doesn't it? So I'll give it a good dollop of resin on it before I start laying up. Yeah, at least we're finished grinding now, just the sanding. The sanding should be done in a few hours, then that'll be time to cut the foam and lay up. Thank God for that. That grinding's a horrendous job. But that's getting there, it's going in a positive direction now. Well, that's all now sanded out, apart from one little bit I missed. Look, dirty patch there. I ain't gonna bother doing any more today, that's it. But I've sanded everywhere. Got over the floor. The floor looked patchy in places, but you can see look, there's like bits of resin left behind me. Took off the floor and I sanded all that out. Look a bit patchy. There's obviously still a little tiny, even though I hoovered it, well trusty old Henry, there's still a bit of dust in that floor. That looks a bit resin dry in places to me, this floor do. I don't think there was quite enough resin when they laid it up. I don't know. I don't know I think these all shipped out as bare hulls in the 90s now, fitted out by local fishermen mainly. So I don't know what they done, what's from the manufacturer and what ain't. Because Orkney's got a very good name, always has done, and I can't see them doing a shitty job. But yeah, it's all ground out, hoovered. Hopefully maybe start to lay up and move in a positive direction tomorrow. But as you can see here, that's that funny hard orange crusty foam. That's like a semi-aerated foam. That's a right weird old stuff, what's in the bilges. And where I grind down deep, I've just been repairing the keel, look like some of that in there. So that's a really heavy resin. Must look a bit foamy, but it's not foam, that's rock hard. But you can see in the bilge on the starboard side, that's a hole there and there where a bit of plywood went in for the floor before. That was a string as what I going across the boat. Obviously that bit's cracked up, and you can see the screws from the stainless of the bilge keels. We're going to have to put something on them and cover them up, because if you glass them in, you'll never be able to get the screws to the bilge keels out again. There's another one there. So obviously them screws, and another one there. So obviously them screws what have gone into that hard resin and cracked that. But I'll fill it up with something or other. I might get some chopped strands and make up a paste and do a few mil at a time, or so like do 10-15 mil at a time, and keep layering it up until that's full. And tomorrow I'm going to glass over the lot. I'll totally glass them in, fill them up, glass them in. And the same on that side, fill them little holes up tomorrow, glass them in, do 2 layers of 450 gram mat over the top just to seal them, and then I want to put a bit of foam in here, tie them to bits of deck. Alright, we don't really need them strips of deck, but that's a good reference point to do the floor in it. That's a nice date. You look, as a nice datum around the boat in it to get everything level, or sort of level. But a couple of times here I've ground them out and they're not joined to the boat anymore, so I might just get some chopped strand mat, mix it up with a bit of resin as a paste and just spread it in there and make them solid again, so I'll get date them. Well, that's it for the day now. I'm all done and dusted. We're in this lean-to. That's bloody hot, and I've had enough of grinding and sanding. There's only so much you can do. That drive me up the wall. I've done that for like 5 odd days now. I've only done like 3 or 4 hours at a time, but under this lean-to that's so warm. And using vibratory machinery to make your fingers tingle after 2 or 3 hours of using them. That's enough really, 3 or 4 hours a day. Well, that's me done for another day. Hope you enjoyed watching. I'll catch you later. Bye.